They get used to our habits. They get used to our routines, and they kind of know that. Come on, big boy. Even though he's a lot more what I'd call kind of chill, I still stay out of his range. Good boy. I ended up going to school for teaching originally, and I got into that for a couple years and was like, man, I don't think I want to do this. And my dad had been a game warden, and my grandpa was a farmer, and so I'd always grown up kind of around animals and liked animals. And he was like, man, you should check this place out called The Wilds, because I grew up in Chillicothe, and so it was about an hour and a half away. So I came out here on a tour with him, and I was like, this place is crazy. And he's like, see if they got any applications. I'm like, okay. So I ended up getting a job as a tour guide, and I worked here for 3 years as a tour guide. And after my first year, I was like, man, this is cool. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Excellent. So they can be a very maybe neurotic animal at times to work with, and frustrating. So it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of awareness. And that's another reason why I like kind of the way we manage, is because we got to be on the floor with them, and we got to, believe it or not, the best way to figure these animals out and what to do with them is cleaning and feeding every day. It's being in here, moving them around, you know, seeing how active they were in the stall, seeing how much they ate, seeing if they left grain over, seeing who picks on who, seeing who comes through the door first, who's bold, who's not. That's the stuff you pick up on through your day-to-day interactions that make you a good manager at the end of the day, really. One of the things we have to educate the public about too is, if you want these animals to do really well and to be introduced one of these days, they can't be the kind of animal that comes up and takes apple slices from your hands. You can't pet them. You can't do those types of things, because these real animals in their true form can be pretty savage. And that's the way they need to be, you know? And nature is cruel, and that's the reality of it. You know, as much as we want to not believe that, these animals have tough lives and tough existences, and we're doing them no favors by dumbing them down and humanizing them. They have to stay that way, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinions, because when they get out there, they're fighting for dominance, they're fighting for breeding rights, you know, they're trying to survive. That's increasingly, I think, a little more difficult in our culture these days. Is people see sweet animals and petting and hand raising, and there's all reasons for those things, and there's reasons to do those things, and we do some of those things here, but not all animals can be that way, especially if reintroduction and large group management is your goal. So yeah, there's a lot of different caveats to this job and kind of the mission that we're doing here, for sure. The impact that Tuffy has had, that animal, on people here, he's educated hundreds, thousands of people just because he'll eat lettuce from them. Then they get here, they see him, they're enamored by a giraffe, so then they want to learn more about giraffe, and Kelsey and other people teach them about giraffes. So they're very important to the mission as well. It's just not in the way that the others are, you know what I mean? So there's a position for that. There's a part of that that you can't avoid. So, and that's the thing, is that human nature is human nature. Like, I love these things, you know, it's neat, it's cool. You know, when I get to sit there and hand feed, it's cool, it just is. So it's also kind of the balance that you try to ride as well too. It differs species to species, because giraffe, I manage a lot. This is way more what we call bunny hugger than what I typically do. You go out for talking, backtraining deer, things like that, and I'm way more hands-off. You know, I'm like, nope, they need to stay out. We need to do everything we can to have that calf and mother out in the field together. And I push that pretty hard. So it changes with species too. And you have to, kind of like we were talking about the reality of Tuffy and the reality of some of these other animals, they have to operate in this, and we have to care for them. You know, there's things like today, they got to be locked in. It's too cold, you know, but 2 days ago when it was really nice, I shoved them all out. And I really push for that, because I think at the end of the day, the more wild you can keep your animals, the happier and the less stressed they're going to be.